Oh, let me center. Yeah, center that. So I'm centered. Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? We're going to give everybody a few minutes to come and get clocked in. But in the meantime, Jason's not here today, so I'm going to be stepping in for him. And I have a very exciting topic to go over. I'm going to go through inspecting properties. So if everybody can see and hear me, just hit me up in the message. And let me just test this to make sure it works. And let's see. This should work. Awesome. Okay, cool. I'm signed in as Jason Rodriguez. I'm not Jason Rodriguez. My name is Zach Vanderwill. I'm actually Jason's partner. And sometimes you'll see me on some of the webinars. And other times you'll see me at the meetup groups and local events and 3-day live events that we do. I'm there for all of them, and we partner on a lot of deals. And I have a few working now, which is where he's at. He's taking care of a few of them, and he's also in his mastermind group, which is awesome. I can't wait for him to get back and share some of the things that he's been doing and going over. So if everybody can kind of just hit me up on the messages and let me know how the quality is, we're doing our best. So if we hit a technical difficulty snag, I have some help on the back end, but just bear with me. And I'll give everybody about 4 or 5 minutes to come and get logged in, and then I'll start the presentation. I'm going to go through inspecting properties. So when you go to a home, how do you do it? What do you look at? What's good? What's bad? How do you put a cost to it? And why is it important when doing your numbers? You know, why is it important to know how much things cost? What's good? What's bad? What has to be replaced? Ignore the clock. I'll wait for it to end chiming. It'll go off a couple times. That means I'm on time. It's 11 o'clock. So hit me up in the messages. Where's everybody from? First time watching? Like, say hello. Be friendly. Let me see right here. Okay, everyone can talk. Everyone can see. Awesome. So I'm just giving it a few minutes for the people that are just logging in, just for a few more. I usually give them 4 or 5 minutes so everybody can get through the software and get online. And I'm going to be going over a really exciting topic, which is inspecting property. So after you've done your marketing, you've negotiated, somebody's accepted, or you book an appointment to go look at a home, what are you looking at? You know, why it's important. How does it affect your math? How does it affect your offer? And you know, what do you look for? Hey, what's up, Makir? How you doing? So that's what I'm going to go over on this presentation. Probably take me about 45 minutes, but the cool part is that you guys, I want everybody to come and engage. Ask me a couple questions. At the end, I'm going to have a Q&A. But if you're stuck on something or you just want to say that's awesome, I appreciate the encouragement. Keep it going in the chats. Thumbs up are always good. So yeah, I'm just going to give it like 2 more minutes and then I'm going to get started. What's up, Andrew? How you doing? So yeah, I'm standing in for Jay today. He's working on a couple deals and he's also at his mastermind group. So I'm going to be on this and I'm going to be on the Q&A later. There's another webinar on a little bit later. So if you guys have the link to that, bring your hard questions. So if it's something on this that you see, that you have a question on, bring it if we don't get to it here, or if it's a question that's separate, I'll handle all the hard ones. I'm built for this, so give me your hard questions. I will turn this down to vibrate. Alrighty. About another minute here, and then we'll come and get rolling. I am super excited. I love talking about this topic. This is probably going to be one of the more sexy topics that people talk about because it's relatable to everybody. It's an important number. I'm going to be going over repairs and inspecting a property and what that looks like, what's good, what's bad, what has to be replaced based on your exit, you know, putting a cost to some things. Just so you know, this cost is the math that's in here. Awesome. So the costs that I have to these items on my repair sheet. So when I go to a home, I go as a professional. I'm going down to buy the property. Okay. So when I pre-screen them and I book the appointment with the homeowner, they understand that I'm going to confirm the repairs, and I will present multiple offers there live if I can. I mean, if there's something major like a septic or something that has to get inspected, I'll just write it in the contract. It's contingent on inspection for that. But I give offers live, because when they're hot, and when they're not. You want to come and negotiate live with the homeowner after you've seen it. You know what the comps are before you go. You know your formulas. You've already pre-screened them that you know they want to do some sort of deal with you if you can come to terms. So you're going down to confirm the repairs, the condition of the home, and that will affect what your cash offer is and what your terms offers are. Okay, because everything is based on condition. It's one of the line items in the MACO formula. Maximum allowed cash offer. It's typically, ARV, after repair value, times 65 cents or 65%, minus out your repairs. So that repair number is really going to change what your cash offer is and whether or not you overpaid for it or negotiated a good deal. Or it's just not a deal at all because you can't come to terms. But what we don't want to do is overpay for something and lose money. That's against company policy. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to lose money. So I have a really cool presentation for you. I love this presentation. It's going to be on inspections, the inspection sheet that we use, the one-pager. So I have a one-page inspection sheet when I go down. It's to give basic categories. Okay, it's to make it easy. I have a more in-depth one that I do that's itemized, that as you go through, it's per square foot and you can get very detailed in it. But this is to give you a good idea of what has to come and get done. And it's good for your notes, and it makes you look professional. Anytime I go and look at a property, anytime, I have my property inspection sheet and a camera. So on my phone. It is very important. I know some people will go and they will just look and kind of ballpark it and not take notes. That is not the professional way to come and do it. Why? Because if you're looking at 3 or 4 properties that day, you're not going to remember everything every time. You need your notes and you need images or video or both, video and images. I take a lot of pictures. I did a walkthrough of a house last week for my own self in North Jersey, and I took almost 80 pictures. And I know what I'm doing. So I'll walk you through what that looks like. I'm going to get started on the presentation. I got a few people logged in. Awesome. Good to see everybody. Hey, Maria. How you doing? Andrew, Bakir. Awesome. I'm going to start the presentation. Let me know when you guys see my screen. And hide that. Oh, wait. Let me go here. So let me see. So I don't have a dual screen, so bear with me on this. Okay. Hey, what's up, Jay? How you doing? So I just told him, oh wait, turn share screen off? No, I want to keep it on. So I just told him that you were looking at a couple deals and that you were in your mastermind. So super excited. You can see my screen. Great. Do you see just the PDF? Or do you see my whole screen? So this PDF, let me go here. And then I'm going to try and get it to full screen. Let me see here. So I can get it to presentation. Awesome. You can see everything. So you see my face. Great. I'm going to click onto the PDF and turn it to a presentation just so we can go through the slides and it's nice and big for everybody to come and see. I'll be flipping back and forth a few times just to check in on the chat box and see what questions you might guys have. Awesome. So this presentation is going to be on inspecting properties. So when you go to the property, what do you look for? The main topics that we're going to go through is what does an inspection sheet look like? Just like the pre-screening for sale by owner script, we try and keep it simple. Why? If you had 15 pages for each inspection sheet and you look at 10 properties today, that's a ream of paper almost. It's 150 sheets of paper. It gets very cumbersome. It gets very confusing. You want to go in. You want to quickly identify the main items that have to be. You're going to put a miscellaneous on it also, and you want to take a ton of pictures for reference later. So we're going to go over what our one-page inspection sheet looks like, and then we're going to break it down into categories. When do you inspect the property? Okay, so there's two phases to it. One when you're on the phone, and then physically. We're going to go over what's virtual inspecting. I'm going to break down the sections of the property inspection sheet and just go over each section one by one, so you can see a nice blown up version of it. And why do we need to know how to evaluate repairs? What's the MAKO process? A business plan, and then details on what to look for during an inspection, and then some practice exercises. Okay, so that's the main topics that I'm going to cover. I'm going to move through this with a little bit of velocity, and then probably every 4 or 5 slides, I'll pause, and if you guys have questions, hit it up in the chat box. Also, if I'm going too fast or I'm going too slow or you need me to clarify on something, just hit me up in the chat box. And if you want to, give me a shout out, I'm cool with that too. Okay. When will you inspect the property? Okay. So we will do it so it's virtual in the beginning. Okay. We're not going to go look at homes that we don't know we can buy. Okay. I typically don't put my butt in a car in a house I can't buy. You would go crazy. I hear a lot of people saying like, well, when do you inspect it? Typically, if I'm speaking to a homeowner, I will pre-screen them. Whether I do marketing out or I'm doing my own marketing to make my phone ring, I will go over my script. And in my script, I ask them, so anybody that has the for sale by owner script that we have, and if you don't any for sale by owner script that you have, you want to know some of the conditions of the property. So tell me a little bit about the home and the situation. How many beds, how many bathrooms? Great. Now you have a vivid picture of the makeup of the home, but tell me the condition. So how is the kitchen? When was the last time you renovated? A lot of times they'll say the house is in perfect condition. Great. When was the last time you renovated the kitchen? Has it been in the last 2 years, 5 years, or since you moved in? If they say since I moved in, it's been like this, great. How long have you been there? If they say 15 years, you have a pretty good idea that kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, paint, fixtures are either, it might be in impeccable condition, taken care of, but you can establish that it's outdated. And challenge is if we're going to market, the market will dictate. Everybody watches HGTV. If you're selling for new dollar, if you're going for top of market, you have to have top product. Okay, outdated sells, but it sells at a different price. So you have to decide what your exit is going to be. If the house is in impeccable condition and it's just a little outdated, you might want to just say, okay, well, I'm going to take it, clean it up, and then sell it as is, outdated, but don't expect to get HGTV price. You just have to adjust the price. So that's all. So you're going to pre-screen over the phone. Okay. I like to say it's called bracketing. So everyone will say, well, the kitchen's in good condition or the bathroom's in good condition. They may be telling the truth. It might be in very good condition. Okay, when was the last time you completely ripped out the bathroom, renovated it, like new, like HGTV? Have you ever done that? No. Okay, when was the last time you did any updates? Has it been 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, more? Bracket them in. Get a timeline. Okay. You also want to know how long things last. So for instance, like roofs, shingle roofs, the basic ones, depending on the area, some rougher areas with the climate, but the majority of them are 10 to 15 years, somewhere in there. You might get a little more, you might get a little less, but usually 10 to 15 years for a roof. So if they say they moved in 20 years ago and they never redid the roof, you can establish the roof probably has to be redone, or at least an extra layer of shingles. And I'll go into on this what good and bad looks like. Okay. When will you pre-screen? Over the phone when you ask them that, and you bracket in those timelines so you can get a good vivid picture of what you're going to walk into. If they have it online, if it's listed for sale by owner, you can look up the pictures online. You can also look up photos, or they can email you pictures. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, could you go through and take some pictures if you have them and send me an email. Send me the condition of the property. And most people will be like, oh, no, people aren't going to do that. I'm like, whoa, pause. You want me to write you a check for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can take 10 pictures and send them to me through email. So when you put it in that perspective, if I've had people just do a video walkthrough. Can you do a video walkthrough of the property? I want to make sure it qualifies. And you'll gauge that on the phone when you're talking to them if they're cool. I mean, if they're nice people and they really need to sell and they want to do business with you, could you do me a favor? You have a smartphone. Yeah, okay. Just so I can get an idea of what I'm walking down to. You know, when I get there, I'm coming to buy your home. I want to have the most amount of data possible so I can give you a realistic offer on your property. And I'm not blowing smoke. Could you, maybe tomorrow or today, give me like a quick little video walkthrough of the house? Pause on the kitchen, pause here, or just take some pictures of stuff. Because sometimes you'll also talk to people and they'll say, oh, well, this kind of needs to be fixed. And they don't know how to explain it. So, okay, could you take me a few pictures of the cracks in the foundation for me that you're talking about and just send them to me? Okay, because it's also building rapport. It gets them to do things for you, and you have a good idea what's going on in the house. Also, Google. You can go to Google and type in the address. It'll give you an aerial view. Gives you a great picture of the roof, depending on when the picture was taken also. So you can see the dates of the pictures, and then you can get a good idea how old the roof is, what the layout of the property is, how the driveway is set up, the setup of the property. You can get sometimes square footage, roughly. You can search out the neighborhood, so you can see if your neighbor's a hoarder, or if it's a double yellow line, or if there's power lines there. All these things will affect your property price and whether or not you buy. Or not whether or not you buy, what price you buy at. Okay? So you can do a lot of data and research before you go down to look at the home. So let me just pause. That was a good one. I just want to make sure that everything is working good. So if you guys can see everything and it's working well, just hit me up in the chats. If something comes up where it blinks out, hit me up also, just so I know. So because I only see this screen, I don't see what you guys see. So let me just step back into this. This is our one-page property inspection summary. Okay, this is different than the script for the for sale by owner. All right, so I've already talked to the homeowner. I already have that script. They've already been pre-screened. I've already set the appointment. Everybody that's there to make a financial decision with them and sign off on the mortgage if there is one, or sign contracts is there. Okay, this is to inspect the property. Okay, so there's no questions on this. It's all questions, but there's no questions you're going to ask people. Okay, you're going to go through and you're going to look. If they're forthcoming and you say, you know, you want to talk to them about like, oh, the water heater looks pretty decent. When was the last time you installed that? Definitely have conversation with them. Okay, but this is for your reference. So it's a street address. Oh, wait, I'll break it down. What am I doing? Okay. Oh, I'm getting way ahead of myself. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to break this down into sections. Okay, and there's usually 4 sections when I inspect. Okay, the reason we break it down and chunk it down is so that you have clarity, and you're going to break down your repairs separately. So typically, the first thing I'll do is, because I'm there, and during the daylight, you want to go during the day. If you have to go at night, maybe you come and you do the inside at night, or you do the exterior during the day, earlier in the day, and then come back at night if somebody works or you can't get inside until at nighttime. But you want to see it in clear daylight. Okay, it's going to be the exterior of the house. So you're going to walk around. You're going to take pictures of everything around the outside, the roof, the gutters, the property, the neighbors, everything. So when I say take pictures, you should take probably 60 to 80 pictures of every house. Okay? And that is honestly for like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,500 square feet houses. So it's not like these mega million mansions where it's 10,000 feet. I'm taking a lot of pictures of regular houses. And these prices that are on here are for that, regular houses. So 3 beds, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet, plus or minus a little bit, in New Jersey. If you're doing a luxury house, that's just a different inspection sheet. Okay, it's a different cost because you're doing higher grade items, you're doing big square footage, you're doing a higher end finish, higher end fixtures. This is for your middle of the road, blue collar, very nice, cute little home in a cute little town that you're going to sell to a cute little family. Okay, because a lot of the rehabs that we do and the marketing that we do is to source those types of properties. The reason why we source those types of properties, it is the biggest pool of buyers for our exit. So when I go to market and sell, who am I selling to? I'm selling to the biggest pool of buyers, which currently right now is first-time homeowners. So here in New Jersey, first-time homeowners typically qualify for houses priced somewhere between $200,000 on the low end up to maybe $375,000 to $400,000 on the high end. So we look for those bread and butter properties, and this is the inspection sheet to be used. But we break it down to the exterior, then it's the mechanicals. So what is that? That's like the furnace, the water heater, the electrical panel, a sub pump, all the mechanicals in the house, the heating systems. I'll do the interior of the house, okay? So now you're talking it's flooring, walls, fixtures, kitchens, bathrooms, ceilings, basement if it's finished or not finished, tile work, stuff like that. And then the clean out, okay? So the clean out of the house, which most people don't put in their numbers, which is a big number when you see it. When you don't account for it, it is not a nice surprise. Let's put it that way. It is a number that always must be in there, whether you're having a company come and haul trash away for you, or you're having a dumpster, or if it's not that much and you're taking it to the dump. Cleaning out the house and trash is one of those items that every time I scratch my head, I'm like, oh, it's my least favorite part. But it is a number, and you must account for it. So, I'll pause on that one too, just to make sure. So can you guys see? If you guys can see and hear and everything's looking good, just hit me up in the messages. Just want to make sure that we're still live and going well, and I'm not just I went blank and I'm talking to myself, which I'm cool with. I'll do it again. Awesome. Great. Okay. So on here, I chunked this down into, well, I'll just leave the slides here. Okay, cool. Now I can see them. So on here, this is the first portion of the property inspection sheet. It's pretty simple. It's the address of the property you're going to look at, the date, who inspected it, okay, and then the city. All right, it's important that you say who inspected it, because if you have somebody else do it for you, or you have a team member, and you grow your team out, you have somebody come by, it's a good reference to come back and know who did it, okay? The city, and then how many units. So if it's a single family home, that's what it's going to be. It's a single family. I'll usually just write right on the top, single family. 3 beds, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet. If it's a multi-unit, then you just fill out each unit's bed and baths. And if it's collecting rent, what that rent number is. Okay? If it's vacant, I'll just put a VA on it. I'll just put vacant or VAC on. Because when you're going through the repairs, you want to be able to come, and if it's a 3-family, you're going to multiply it per square foot. So if each unit's 1,000 square feet, that's a big 3-family, 3,000 square feet, and you have to do flooring, you're not doing it in just 1,000 feet, you're doing it in 3,000 feet, okay? So in other words, if it's $5 to do flooring, I wouldn't do that in a rental, but if it's $5 for round numbers, and you have 3,000 square feet, you're going to spend $15,000 on flooring, as opposed to 1,000 square feet, you're paying $5,000. So you can see how being accurate with this will quickly change what your offer is. Because when you minus out those repairs for cash or terms, it could be a huge swing if you don't do it accurately. And I have some safeguards in here so that you don't have to worry about getting down to the pennies. So the other thing I will say is, as I come through and I go through these numbers, okay, these are estimates for what I am charged, okay, through my contractors that have done deals for me before. So I say that because you're going to get into the price of something and people will be like, oh, you pay $2 for flooring, I pay $175. Great. Awesome. Use your guy. These are estimates of what I am charged for contractors and subs to do the work for me. And it's pretty fair. Like I don't really have super steep discounts. The people that work with me, they make money. That is the purpose. They're supposed to make money. I want them to, so they do more work for me. So I pay a regular market price for some things when it comes to investor prices. Okay, but don't get hung up if you're paying 25 cents more or less for something than what's on this sheet. You're going to have your sheet, you put your price on there. And this will always evolve. I have to pause and say that also. Your pricing will evolve if you're doing renovations. Okay? Materials go up and down. You might get a new painter. You might get a better one that might be a little bit more money but does phenomenal work, and he's reliable and he shows up on time and he's licensed, which all of our guys are. Okay? Now on the flip side, you might have a cheap demo crew that comes in that does a great job cleaning the property out, and they haul it away and they're super cheap. So you might get, a little bit higher or a little bit less. Do not get stuck on that. And the reason why is because even if you were off, let's say, by a few $1,000s, and you were pegged to make 50 grand on a renovation, I would make 50, you'd make 47. Would you still do the deal? If you wouldn't, you probably want to check some things out. And if you had cheaper pricing and I was making 50 and you were making 53, I would definitely still do that deal regardless. So this will evolve as you do, and when the market goes up and down, and material cost goes up and down too. Even if you're buying stuff from Home Depot, you get sheetrock from Home Depot, the prices go up and down. That's the way it is. So now I'm going to step back into this. So this is the first piece. The second piece, now we're starting to get in. Oh, I got to press down. There we go. The exterior of the house. So we keep it simple. Okay? So as I'm going through the exterior of the house, I'm walking the perimeter of the house closely. So usually I'll start close and then work my way out. Just what I do. I'll walk the perimeter of the house, and it's a yes or no. Okay? Does it need a roof? If it's yes, I check the yes box. Then I say, okay, well, is it a single family or multi-family? For single family roofs, I have my guys down to about $6,000 for rip and replace. For rollover layer shingles, I'm between $3,000. Actually, the last one was a little bigger, so I paid a little bit more. If it's a multi-family, it's going to be $9,000. You put the repair cost to the right of it. This is not, so I'll pause, this is not the haul away for the trash. That is separate. This is just the roof and materials and labor. So this is materials and labor. Okay? Now in your area, you might be able to do it a little cheaper. It might be a little bit more. But this is a good ballpark when you're doing it. Okay? Exterior paint. Doesn't need paint. So sometimes, and especially here, they have the bottom part of the house is concrete sometimes, and the rest of it is siding. Or it's a brick face, or it's aluminum siding. You might be able to paint it. Or does it actually need siding? So for paint, I'm usually at $2 a foot. If they're spraying it, it's like $1.60. If they're painting it, it's like $2.25. So I just average right across the board. I'm about $2 a foot. Paint a single family exterior, 1,500 square feet, about $3,000. Okay, you can easily come and get $2 a foot for paint. But does it need it? So it's a check yes, check no. And I just go through and I check yes. Boom, boom, boom. Does it need windows? Okay. If it's yes, how many windows? That's where the units come in. Okay. So if it's, you count them. You go through and it's 16 windows. And I've had the conversation before where it's like it needs windows. Okay, how many windows are there? I don't know. Okay, well, let's talk about that. How many sides to the house are there? 4. It's a perfect square. Great. Is there one window on one side of the house? No. There's usually 2, sometimes 4. Okay. So you can have an idea as to, how many windows. Count the number of units because you're going to times that number. For the lower end windows, rip and replace them at like $1.50. The windows are like 110. I'm paying $40 a window. It's not including haul away. Okay. Haul away is going to be on garbage. So I just keep it separate. All right, how many do we have? That's how much it's going to cost. If they're big, bigger windows or a bay window, then you just count 3 windows. 1, 2, 3. I count that as 3. Basement windows, they're about 2/3 the price. So you have the little basement ones. They're usually about 100 to 125. So I just count those. So it has to make sense. A lot of this is common sense. If you see a window, great. If it's a double wide, Count 2. That's it. If there's a garage, does it need repairs? So for that, it would be, I would check the roof on the garage. So sometimes it's shingle roof to match the house. I would check the roof. If the roof does need to be replaced, just add it on to the roofing cost. Okay? It's single family square foot. It's about 500 square feet. They could probably do it for 2/3 the price. Makes sense. Okay? Does it need repair on the garage door? Okay? Is it 1-car paint? Is it 2-car paint? Does it need structure and reframing? Does it need a new roof? It's yes or no. You're going to look at it, and you're going to take a bunch of pictures. Okay? Now it's to the yard cleanup. Again, we're all on the exterior. I haven't even gotten into the house yet. Okay? Yard cleanup, landscaping. Easy is honestly like a little bit of shrubs in the front, maybe cut the grass, and, some mulch. Okay? If you're just cleaning up the yard. If you're landscaping, if it's harder, trees. Oh, by the way, this piece here, this is not removing trees. Okay, trees can get very expensive to remove. I suggest it if they're close to the house or overhanging the house. Sometimes you can get away with just trimming all the way up. Tree removal, you want to come and you want to get a quote. Depending on the size of the trees, it varies. Trees can become very expensive. They're usually like $500 a pop, sometimes more, depending how big they are. So for that, if you have a property that has a lot of trees, you want to do probably just put $3,000 to it and count the trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just the ones around the house. If it's a nice backyard, I like trees. So if it's a nice backyard, I don't clear the land and level grass and level the dirt. Why? Probably not going to get any more money to do it. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just an extra cost. So a lot of the times that I see people come and they rehab houses, they over rehab. My question is, okay, well, I'm in this for business. So if I just want to get into it as a hobby to make beautiful homes, that's cool. You do that. We're in for it to make business, give a good product to the market. That's the clock. It's telling me I'm on time. So it's to give a good product to the market to match what's there already. So in other words, I don't want to put $1 million kitchen into a $250,000 house if we're looking at it from a business standpoint, because I'm not going to get any more money for it. The mindset of I'm going to come in and I'm going to break the mold of the neighborhood and I'm going to sell the first $1 million house in a $250,000 area, I would say good luck. It's not a winning formula, and we're in this for scale. So you want to do 5 or 10 rehabs. Okay, well, you want to match what's there. Rehab to the level of the houses that are there. If the houses in the area are selling outdated and you look at the profits and it hits your numbers, you might not need to rehab the whole house. If everything there is new, well, then you probably do have to rehab the whole house because your competition in that area calls for it and that price calls for it. So just be mindful of what's going on around you. Look at your neighbors. Look at the neighbors. If everybody there has a paved driveway and they're all newly paved driveways and you're looking and you have dirt, you might want to match the neighbors. Okay? That's why I always say take tons of pictures, because you can look back on it later. And with the pictures, you can have somebody else come and take a look and analyze the deal for you also. Not only that, when you go to if you want to keep it, you can send those pictures to contractors and say, here's the condition of the property, here's what I'm paying for it, and can you do it before they come down? It helps everybody. So does the yard need to be cleaned? I gotta put it down. Now we're stepping into the mechanicals on the house. So awesome, all good, fantastic. So now you're stepping into the house. You can jump to the interior of the house or just start in the basement and work your way up. Honestly, in the beginning, just pick the same way all the time. So if you always start in the basement, always start in the basement until you become really good at it. A lot of the times, if I'm with the homeowner, they'll kind of give me a tour through the house. This is exactly what I say to them, because they're talking and you want to give them attention and you want to listen because you're still building rapport. They haven't accepted your offer yet, so you want to be likable. They have a dog, pet it if it doesn't bite. I like dogs, so it's not a big deal. They have a cat, pet the cat. You want to be relatable because they will do business with you because they like you and trust you and because you can help them. So you don't want to step in and just, blow them off completely. You're still connecting with a human being. Okay? So sometimes people want to give you a tour. I'm fine with that. That's cool. How I typically will do it is I say, look, definitely let's come and have the tour. I'm going to take the walk around and then I'll come back. And is it okay if I take some pictures while I'm here? Yeah. Okay, great. Where do you want to start? You want to show me the kitchen? Awesome. They show me the kitchen. They give me the whole tour. Then I go back on my own and I start taking my pictures and doing my repairs. Okay? Because that's the time to do that. So let's say you start in the basement. Okay? You're going to start in the basement and you're going to look at the heater. You're going to look at the furnace. If it's a boiler or furnace, what do they have? Forced hot air, whichever it is. Does it need to be replaced? Typically, they're about 10 to 15 years. Okay? So if you have one that's all rusted and it looks like a bomb went off inside of it and wires are sticking out of it, and I'll go through some good and bad images later, what bad looks like, and then what good looks like. You walk into the house and it looks good and it's running and everything's clean. You're like, oh, that looks kind of new. Okay, the copper's no nice. Okay, steam, whatever it is. If it's forced hot air, the ductwork is nice. The unit's painted. It's got a stamp on it. They service it. You're like, okay. You could look on it. Sometimes they'll have the date on the machine. So if you have to replace it, it's a yes or a no. If you have to just replace a furnace for single family, 3 beds, 2 baths, about 1,500 square feet, not dual zone, just one zone, it's about $1,500, not including removing the old one, okay, because that's haul away. So sometimes it might be an extra like couple $100. They take it to the scrapyard, make a few dollars. That's fine. If you're doing central AC, okay. So yeah, okay, awesome. If you're doing central AC, so heating and cooling, I just did one. It was a 3 bed, 2 bath, 1,300 square foot, 2-story, cute little home. Took the old one out, put a brand new one in. It cost me $4,500. That was the permit, the hallway of the old one, the install, the piping for the condenser out back, and the Freon. So $4,500. So you're going to go and you're going to see, okay, does it need to be replaced? Use common sense. Does it not? If it's 5, 6 years old, it's in good condition, it's not necessary to come and replace it. That's it. So, but if it does, you're going to check yes, and you're going to put the number to the right of it. The water heater, same thing. You can look. If it's leaking and it's rusted and the drip pipe there's water on the floor, that would be bad. You'd want to come and replace that. Water heaters, you have about 8 years on them. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But about 8 years. Water heaters are cheap, honestly, especially for that. If you're going to install a one-zone baseboard heater, got the job per unit. So that means you can take all the piping out. You're going to put the radiators in, or the baseboard all the way through. It's about $4,500 per unit. Okay, so what that means is about every 1,500 feet. If you have to go up and it's a 2-story, you might have a little bit more because he's got to run just more piping. Here's what I recommend. If you can get away, if you have to make repairs to it or change some of the heating units out or some of the piping, you do it. You do what you have to because at the end of the day, we want to put a good product. But if it is in working good condition and you just have to replace the heater, then just replace the heater and use the existing. Again, we don't want to come in over rehab because now that turns into a full gut job. Now, if it's already fully gutted and you're like, hey, it's an incremental that I'm willing to come and take, then you do it. But you have to use your best discretion. Not everything has to be new all the time. Especially, for here in New Jersey and a lot of areas, it's an old state. A lot of the homes are old. You have 1900 builds. Okay? So if they're coming in, they have to understand that most of the time it's not new construction. New construction has a price. And it has a sale price. That's not what we're looking at. Okay? Typically we're looking at cute little homes in blue-collar towns, usually older. You're buying existing. Okay? So it's okay if it has that little older charm. Not everything has to be completely brand new. Does the electrical need repairs? So you're going to open the electrical panel again. If it looks like a bomb went off, or you see that it was dated, 1960, especially with today's stuffs with the GFIs and the smart stuff and all the technology that we have coming out, it probably has to come and be updated. So a new panel is about $1,500, and then each floor I put a number to fixtures. So if I have to replace the fixtures in a house, it's about $200 per floor. That's depends if I'm doing like the high-end chandeliers. So the dining room, I might do a chandelier that's about $150. But then everything else, you're putting the little like dome lights in or recessed lights if they're there, and you're just replacing the hi-hats. Like I have, I don't know if you can see them. Can you see them? Yeah, so if you see them, like I have the little recessed lights here, they run about $35 each. Like install, pull the old ones out, do the wiring to it, $35 each. The actual ones are LEDs and they cost about $12. They're not that much. So you put a number to how many fixtures. If you're using a big property, hello, awesome. So if you're doing a really big property, again, this is for about 1,500 square feet. This is what this is based on, 200 per floor. So if you have a 3,000 square foot property, then you just double it. Okay. So new service panel, rewire an entire house. It's about $4,000 per floor. Okay. So if you have 2 floors and you're going up, it's 1,500 square feet. You're probably going to spend about $4,000. That'll be the new panel and then rewire. Because here's the challenge, especially now around here, if you're touching kitchens and bathrooms and they're a little outdated, the township will usually require you to install GFIs. So if they're already there and they're existing and they work, I mean, you could use them or maybe just service them. That's fine. But if not, especially in a lot of the older homes and the older electric wired homes, they're not. So at that point, as opposed to using existing electric wire, it's sometimes better and easier just to run a new wire, because it'll probably cost you about $110, $120 to run the wire. Don't fight with old electric. Just take it out, do the right thing, take it out, have them put the new one in, pay the fee. Because here's the thing, you're doing this so that you can accurately see your repairs so you can adjust your offer. Okay, so you're negotiating this into your offer. Don't do bare bones. Do what you're supposed to do and negotiate that into your price, because you're going to do a miscellaneous number also, and things do come up. So if you do bare bones and you're over budget by 20 grand, that's $20,000 in profit that you lost or the rehabber lost. Okay, and for those that are going to wholesale, okay, I see it all the time. I'll see a deal. I just looked at one this morning. It was, I think, $225,000 ARV. Repairs were $20,000, and they were selling it for $150,000. Okay. First of all, if we're already putting numbers to this, $20,000 does not get you that far. That's cosmetic. That's cleaning up the yard, maybe a bathroom, maybe resand some flooring, paint it, clean it up, miscellaneous items. You're done. So that's cosmetic. The house is in really good condition, just needs some regular maintenance and cleanup. Maybe you can do countertops. So the challenge was they were doing bare bones minimum on the repairs, but they wanted to get HGTV market price on the ARV. And it doesn't jive. It doesn't work. So those numbers were off. In order to get that $225 price, the house needed about $45,000, not $20,000. So if I bought it at $150 and needed $45 in work, for those that have the Mako formula, you can do it. It's $225 times it by. If I bought it at $150 and put $45 into it, I'd be into it for $195. I would have to write a check at the end to sell that property, let alone make money or even break even. So this is extremely important. You're going to go through foundation. So this is the foundation need repair, inside and outside. Okay, so now when you're inside, so what does that mean? It's going to be support beams. If you see the joist sagging, anything crooked, and I mean like more than like a quarter of an inch, that's some structural that has to come and get done. It might be a reframe support beams. It might be sealed. So that's joists and supports. The basement, a lot of the places are concrete basements. I'm gonna go right to voicemail. Sorry about that. A lot of them are concrete basements. Okay, you're gonna look and see if there are any major cracks. Okay, now you might see a little hair crack, not necessary. That's just old. Okay, but if you see like cracks or bowing, that's a challenge. Okay, you want to get a structural engineer in to come and give you a bid on that. But if it's small stuff, like, okay, it's just old and, you know, it's concrete, maybe I come and I just paint it and seal it. You know, maybe like the floor is a little messed up and I got to pour some concrete. Usually it's about $800 for every 5 yards, so you just count the feet. How many feet do I need? Okay, it's yes or no. Check yes, check no. Anything sagging? Okay, we need joists, we need support beams, we need a 1-jack support beam, about $200. So if the jack is a little off, you might say, okay, I want all new ones. I want it to look pretty down here. You're going to take those out, put new ones in. Yes or no. Now we're stepping into the interior of a house. So now upstairs, bedrooms, bathrooms, stuff like that. Okay. Sorry about that. I was just reading, making sure that we're still good. So, interior paint. So, let me see here. I will pause right there. So I have a question. For example, I'm a professional painter, Makir. Also, I am assuming that I should pay a painter instead of tackling that myself. Plus, I have a vehicle and trailer to do hauler with. Could I pay myself for these services or others? That depends on how much time, bandwidth, and business you want to run. That's what I would say that depends on. Like for me, I know I'm not handy. Have I demoed before? Yes. Have I painted before? Yes. I've done pretty much all of it at some point or another that I didn't need permits for, like all the, you know, the non-permitted work. I've done yard work. I've done all of it. A few reasons. One, I had the time. We had a little saving money, and it also got me really good at identifying how much and how long that task should take. That's why I did it. So if I demoed a kitchen in a weekend and I was by myself and I'm not a professional and I have a crew of 4 guys, do not tell me it's going to take 5 days to demo out a kitchen. Just take them 1 day. And then maybe just sweep and clean up the next day if they don't get to it. So that really depends on how you want to run your business. And is it worth it for you to paint it yourself for the $2 a square foot to do it yourself, that it might delay the project? Because here's the thing. If you're telling me you can't paint it for 2-3 weeks because you're working or you're doing it part-time and it's going to take you 2-3 weeks, that's 2-3 weeks that you can't go up on market. That's 2-3 weeks that you can't have other things being done, especially with painting, because that's like towards the end. So you're ready to go up on market. Where I could just say, okay, add that onto the number and do it. Have somebody do it for me. That would be for your notes. When I am negotiating with the homeowner, I charge for it. So I have to have the place painted. It's going to be $2 a foot. This is what I know. And they don't get my price. So let's be clear on the repairs. So if it's going to cost me $50,000, I tell them, like, yeah, it's going to cost me $50,000 to do everything that's in here. If you want to come and fix it yourself, you're going to go to market and get contractors. You have probably about a 20% premium on that. So they'll be closer to 65 grand. So I give them options. They could keep it. They could renovate it themselves. Probably going to take $50,000 to $65,000 for them to do it. So to answer the question, when I'm negotiating with them, you're paying somebody else to do it. Now, when you buy it, if you choose to do it yourself, that's entirely up to you. So now we're stepping into the interior. So now you're going upstairs. You're talking about paint. Does it need paint? Yes, no. If you're putting carpet in, does the house need carpet? And you'll do that based on what is in the area. So you're making your house like the other houses that are selling based on your comps. Go see the comps. Look at the pictures online of your comps. Does the house need tile, vinyl? It all has a cost to it. So you're going to check yes, count how many square feet. That's how much you're going to multiply by. Do the floors need to be sanded? Sand and refinish about $275 a square foot. Walk it. Count the feet. Have a measuring tool. I have the little laser tool that fits in my pocket. I just stick it on the wall. It shoots a beam across, tells me how many feet. If you don't have that, how big is your foot? Walk it. Have a little counter. You have to have some sort of guideline. Bring a yardstick. I don't care. But you need some sort of guideline to count feet when you go. So I have a size 12 foot. Not the most accurate, I'm going to say, but I'll walk it 10 feet this way, 10 feet that way. It's a 10 by 10 room. You're going to be pretty close. And here's the reality. Even if you had a size 10 foot, or if you're a lady and you have small feet and it's a size 5, okay, do the math, tack on 5 feet, tack on 10 feet to it. Round up. Okay? Does the kitchen need repairs? So, and again, this is not haul away or demo. Okay, that's going to be a separate number. So, does the kitchen need repairs? Single family rental, a single family owner, which means I'm selling it, or retail, like I'm putting it up on retail, about $4,000. And the reason why is this, because it'd be like, oh, what about the plumbing? What about the electrical? Those are already in separate numbers, so you can't double dip. Okay, so if I was going to say for me to rip and replace a brand new kitchen, I'm about, like $7,000 to $8,000. Okay, but that's demo, haul away, electric, plumbing, plus your cabinets, your countertops, your fixtures, and your tile. Your tile's separate. So it's separated out. So don't double dip on it and say, oh, there's no way you can do a whole kitchen for $4,000. Well, you can if your tile's separate, your paint's separate, your electric, your plumbing is separate, and your haul away is separate, and your appliances are separate. You absolutely can do it for $4,000. If you add everything up, it's probably $7,000 to $9,000 depending on your area. That's usually for a $200,000 to a $400,000 house. Does the kitchen need appliances? Yes, add them up. Does the bathroom need repair? Yes. Okay, fine. Full bath, half bath. Change fixtures only, half bath. Again, don't double dip. You have flooring, paint, tile work, electric, and plumbing all in separate numbers. So this is like to buy your vanity, to buy your tub, to buy your fixtures. You could totally do that with $1,500. Okay? Clean out. So now we're talking about cleaning out the house. This is where people miss. So sheetrock doesn't need to be replaced. So that kind of came down a little bit. That should be up in interior, but it got cut off. So does the sheetrock need to be replaced? General rule, $3 a square foot. If you don't know, okay, you can count the sheets of sheetrock. Okay? So in other words, like I pay usually about $28 to $30 per sheet of sheetrock. So that's pull down the old, put up the new, tape it, spackle it, sand it, ready for paint. $30 a sheet. So if you go into a house and they're 8 feet tall, 3 feet wide, you count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, add a couple on for cuts and like angles, depending on how many you have, times it by $30. That'll get the sheetrock done, ready for paint. So just count it. Or you can use this. This is easy. So, and it has patches also. So if it's only a little area, it's about, a 10 by 10 is about $300 because that's going to take a little bit more time, extra sanding, extra spackle. The guys got to get paid. Let me see how. Awesome. Still going good. Cool. So dumpsters. So here's how I typically will do it. Okay. I'm spending a lot of time on this because, as we go through the images on the rest of the slides, it goes pretty quick. You're going to see good, you're going to see bad, but this is important. So dumpsters. How many dumpsters does it need? I'm usually at $500 to $600 per dumpster. That's for delivery. Okay. And then I'll charge some labor in there also. It depends on how big the dumpster is. If you're getting the big 30-yarders, by the time they're done, they're about $1,000 each. Okay? And this one, honestly, my price has gone up on this. So this price is a little low. So I usually, for the dumpsters, I'm about $1,000 per dumpster. That's just the dumpster. And then I will do the labor to fill that dumpster. So it's usually like 3 guys for a day. It's usually between around $400. I'll pay each guy about $150, between $400 and $500. So each dumpster for me costs me about $1,500. Now, if I'm doing concrete and stuff like that, the dumpster price will go up because they do it by weight, especially here. If you have a cheaper haul away guy, do it. You make out. So that's what I always say. I'm like, every deal I analyze as if I'm using some sort of financing, and the prices that I get. If you use all cash, then you win. You make more money. If you get cheaper pricing, then you win. You make more money. I'm cool with that. I'm awesome with you making a lot of money. I just have to hit my price. And this is what I pay. So I look to actually buy it myself. If it doesn't fit or timing doesn't work, I'll wholesale it. Are there any decks? So decks are one of those items that on the exterior should be, but I put it down at the bottom because not every house has it. Decks, depending on what you're doing, just a straight little patio, they can get expensive if you're doing stairs, railings, all that stuff. But a regular 10 by 10 deck, you could probably get done for about $2,000. Footers, posts, all that fun stuff. It can go up to $5,000. So it depends on your carpenter, it depends on what you want, depends on the angles, depends on the product. If you're using that WeatherTech, you can pay 10 grand for that deck. Easy. But for me, like I just did an 8 by 10 deck, and I think it was $2,100 with the permit, because we had to get a permit here in Jersey for the footers and posts. And then for 3 families, if it needs a fire escape, usually I just put a ballpark of $5,000. Okay. Dumpsters, yeah, single patch. Okay. Here's the other piece. So every property that we analyze, every single one, no exceptions, there is a miscellaneous number that I put to the entire budget. So in other words, you go through this and you add up all the numbers, and let's say you get 50 grand. Okay, great. I add anywhere from 10 to 15% of that budget as a miscellaneous cost. So what does that mean? Those are all little things that will come up during the project. Like you open a wall and there's no framing, and you have to frame it out. You have to do outlet covers, or you want to do a higher end chandelier, or the hallway on the outside comes up and it's more than what you thought. Or, the inspector comes through on the plumbing rough inspection and he wants, something done where the plumber has to come back that wasn't on your original budget. Okay? So I put a miscellaneous cost on every single property, anywhere from 10 to 15%. What justifies the difference, 10 to 15%? How old the property is. If I walk in and the property is really in good condition, I'm not rehabbing much, I'll do 10%. So that's 5 grand. If it's got a lot of little things and it's a really old house, I'll do 15%. So $7,500. So that's why I always pause when people are like, oh, well, I pay $500 less for this, $200 less for this. I don't care. I'm putting a miscellaneous budget on my property anyway when I negotiate. So, and here's the thing. Every property, something comes up. Okay? If you don't use the whole budget, you made out. If you do, you break even. If you have to go over it a little bit, now you're digging into your profit. So you want to make sure that you always build in a miscellaneous. And then add it up and then do your makeup. That make sense? Hit me up in the chat box. Everyone's real quiet. I don't like that. I need some love. So, going forward, why do we need to know these? Why is it necessary to get the correct offer when purchasing? Well, if you follow your Mako formula and you're off by $40,000 or $20,000 on your repairs, the only line item that moves is your profit. And if you're trying to wholesale this deal, you will not be able to wholesale it. People will not buy it because you have to still mark in a profit to that. And people are going to go buy. And here's the thing. People will always go back and forth over repairs. It is as sure as the sun's going to rise, you're going to have somebody walk in no matter what number you put to it, and they're going to be like, oh, it's double that. Those are the people that aren't buying houses. If you're doing it accurately and they come and do that, they're not buying houses enough, or at least from investors. They might go to market. And here's the challenge. If you're negotiating a good price on a home, and it is a good deal, we already know what's on MLS. They're paying 80 cents on the dollar. So if you're getting it to them at 65 cents or 70 cents on the dollar, and they may, they're buying it at 72%, you're already beating what they're already getting. So anybody that comes and says, oh, this is $200,000 to come and renovate this little house, this is a knockdown, not always the case. That person's probably not doing as many renovations as they should be, and they're definitely not buying properties. If they were off by maybe 5 grand, that's a conversation that we might come and have. You know, that's close enough to where if it was only off by a couple $1,000s on a $50,000 rehab, that person's buying. Because they know that it doesn't matter. They can eat it someplace else or miscellaneous or someplace else. So that's why it's important. You will not be able to sell it or you lose money if you buy it. So I'm going to go through some good and bad photos of what stuff looks like. Thank you. Hey, Annie, how you doing? Just saying. So I'm going to go through some pictures, good and bad. So here's a roof. This is what a bad roof looks like. Oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to mess with it now. But this is what a bad roof looks like. So when you look at it and you're walking around the outside, you see cracks, missing shingles, raised shingles, the little bumps, okay? Or just, you see it's like a little ripped up in there and it's just old and shingled. Also, if you see it bump, like if it's wavy, that's just sagging. It's not terrible. It's just a number. You're going to have to replace the roof, okay? As opposed to a good roof or a new roof. So if you go to the house and it looks like this, I don't have to replace the roof. So no, the roof is fine. I had it done 5 years ago. Okay? You're going to look on the inside. If you see any water damage to raise suspicion. Otherwise, it's a good roof. Vinyl siding. Okay? So exterior vinyl siding. So it might not be bad, but does it look like what the market is requiring for that number? So this house here might not be terrible, but if this is the only lime green house with red shutters on the entire neighborhood, you might want to come and change the color to match what your comps are or what's in the neighborhood. Again, it's just a facelift. Here's the reality. That little house will probably cost you $3,500 to $4,000 to do it. And that's like, you know, you're replacing some aluminum trim and you're making it nice and pretty. So if it can get you an extra $10,000 at market or help you sell that house faster, it's worth it. Because every day you have that house, it is costing you something. Every day. If you have hard money on it, you can put a dollar amount to it. If you have cash or a line of credit, put a dollar to it. Not only that, you have taxes, you have insurance, you have water, electric. So every day, 7 days a week, that property's costing you something. So before and after. So that's my final reminder. So I got about 20 minutes left. So before and after. The before, a little old, outdated. The new, nice and clean, renovated. Looks good. You could also, on the vinyl siding, hold on, I'll just wait for that to stop chiming. I don't hear it. A little choppy? Okay. Just pause, because you might not be able to hear me over there. I don't hear it anymore because I'm used to it, but everybody's like, what's that noise? It's a clock. Just bear with me, Andrew. It should clear up in a little bit. If it does not, here's the thing. This one is recorded. Tomorrow you'll get a link, so if you miss anything or it's a little choppy, you could always come and look back on this one. Okay, so vinyl siding. You might not have to completely replace it. You can power wash it. If it's just dirty, you power wash it before and after. Or you can paint it. Aluminum also. People are like, oh, no. You might be able, based on the neighborhood and the condition of the property, if it's in good condition, just needs a facelift to look clean. It's not necessary to have a $4,500 cost at that point. It might be easier just to pay the guy $2 a foot. You'd be into it for a third of that, and he could do it in a day, and he's done. And there's no garbage. There's no haul away, so your dumpster number goes down. Okay? So windows, bad windows. They're cracked. The aluminum's messed up. They're rotted. They're crooked. They don't open. The locks are messed up. Okay? And then what new windows look like. Okay, now these are the higher end, more expensive ones, but it's a nice, pretty house, and I like the image. This is not the $150 windows. This is more like $350, maybe even $500 on the big ones down below. Okay? But you want to come and you want to count the windows. All right? Landscaping. So when I say easy, it's there, but it's just, no one's really taking care of it, giving it any love. You're going to take it, clean it up, and make it pretty. Make it cute. Again, you're selling cute, nice, pretty homes. We're not talking luxury homes, okay? We're just talking first-time home buyers might have young kids or want young kids or want kids, and you're just selling to them. They want something pretty. So yard cleaning might be a little medium. So it's a bigger yard. There's a little bit of landscaping. You got to cut the grass. And then on the harder side, so again, this is not including trees. So this one down here, this was the before. It was literally just dirt. They were getting ready to do it. We said, don't do it. We'll just take it as is. We came, we redid the entire front and just put these pieces in here, cut the entire lawn, trimmed the hedges, threw a tree in. And the yard went a little bit bigger into the back. So it was a big yard to cut, actually. So it was $1,000. Okay? Here. Ugly. You want to trim the trees, cut the grass, take all this out, clean it up, take all these weeds out. If you're redoing a driveway, all this comes out, you redo the driveway. Check out your neighbors. You want to look like everybody else in the neighborhood, or a little bit better if you can. I always like to be a little bit better, but you want to try and match it to what's there and just make it presentable. If there's a big forest and everybody has trees in the back, you just want to maintain it, make it look pretty. If everybody has nice green lawns, well, you may want to take all this out and just, have a nice green lawn. Weed it, feed it, patch it, water it, make it pretty. Garage doors. Ugly garage doors, newer garage doors. Single door replace, about $550. If you have to do the motor, it's about $90. $120 with the install. Double doors. So don't just replace it, you could reface it also. Okay? So you want to make it look good. Okay, so before and after. So the mechanicals. So now we're going to step into some pictures of the mechanicals, what they look like. Because this is usually where everybody can understand paint and flooring scratched up, but now the mechanicals, everyone's like, I don't know electric, I don't know plumbing. Don't feel bad. I can't do electric. I've tried a few times. I've taken a few zaps. That probably explains a lot. But I'm not good at it, but you have to be able to identify it. Okay? So not good electric. Okay? You see this outside the house, exposed wires, extra boxes. You see this, it looks like a bomb went off, rust, no cover, wires hanging out. This is like knob and tube stuff down in here. This is old school stuff. It looks like it's going to set on fire or hurt somebody. Okay? Not good. That is what good looks like. If you walk into a house, and this is an older one too. This is not brand new. But if it looks like this, and everything's labeled, and it's been serviced, and you see the date on it, and you look through the house, and the outlet covers are good, and you have GFIs, and all the lights work, and nothing flickers, and nothing crazy, it's safe to assume that the electric is in good condition. You might have to just do 1 or 2 extra wires, or a little bit of maintenance on it. Okay? Electrical rewiring for a house is about $2,000 per floor. So to do a full single-family house. Oh, I'm sorry. Alexa's kicking in. I don't want to talk to her right now. Okay, she should be fine. Sorry about that. So the electrical wiring in the house. So it's going to start at the panel, and this is what it looks like. They run them up each floor from underneath and then up the walls to where it has to go. Okay? It should look professional and clean. All right? So if you're rewiring the house and your electrician comes in, you'll see the difference immediately. So bad furnace. This is what a bad furnace looks like. All rusted out, wires all over, all these pipes nasty. You look at it, it looks old. Here's a newer one. And this is actually oil, because you can see a little can right there. Okay? But this is what new looks like. Nice, clean, tight wiring going through. That's beautiful. Okay? And this is a regular, simple home. So if you walk into a home and it looks like this, we're good to go. Hot water heater. You see it's all rotted, wires hanging out. You could definitely check by the tops and the bottoms. This is what new looks like. Okay? There's no rust. There's nothing to be worried about. It's all nice and clean. It's got a tag on it. Okay. Plumbing. Plumbing's easy to spot when it doesn't look good. It looks rusted and usually leaks. Or you have evidence of leaking. So like all these guys in here, it's held up by a coat hanger. It's just nasty. It's choppy. This is what good plumbing looks like. Okay, proper elbows. There's copper. If you're using the PEX pipe, it's nice, clean, not hanging all over the place. Interior of the house. So interior paint. So before and then after. And again, it's not recreating the wheel. We didn't demo anything. There's even a cat in there. Cute little cat. It's not necessary to come and demo. The neighborhood didn't need it. It wasn't in bad condition. Wood paneling. Who cares? If other properties in the area are selling it wood paneling, or I'm willing to take a discount because it's wood paneling, then so be it. It's not necessary to come and demo. Just take it, paint it, make it look clean, get it out. Take your profit. If you made $5,000 or $10,000 less, but you did it in 4 months as opposed to demoing the whole property and took you 8 months plus the cost to do it, it's a no-brainer. Why take the headache? There's nothing wrong with it. Interior paint, before, after. It's clean. It's good condition. There's nothing rotted. There's nothing wrong with it. So before and after. So this was just an exterior paint. So it was just brown. It was a nasty color. Like it was brown and brown and brown. So we just took everything and repainted it and made it look clean. That took like 1 day. Same thing. Took this, scraped it, or he power sanded it, or power washed it, took as much off as he possibly could, repainted it. Painted all this, cleaned it all up. That was it. He did a little miscellaneous trim up there, but that was it. The surface before, peel bottom. So you put it on, it comes off, you scrape it off, and it comes right off, and then you can come and you can get a good layer of paint on it. Carpeting. So if carpet is more than 3 years, it must be replaced. Sometimes less than that if they have pets. So I have 2 dogs, so I know that the struggle is real. But carpet does not have a long shelf life, okay, especially for new homes. You might be able to come and have like Stanley Steamer do it, or have it treated and cleaned and it comes out like new, but sometimes you can't. So sometimes it just has to be replaced. Honestly, Home Depot does a really good job. You book it, you order it, get the 8-pound padding, they come, take the old one, put the new one in. It's very comparable to carpet companies. There's really no price save going with somebody else. And they have a warranty on their stuff. And you can come and order it. But if it's more than 3 years, it has to be replaced. So you might be able to steam clean it and clean it up. So that's what it looks like. If you can do that and it comes clean and it's fine and passes for new, that's fine. Not necessary. Tile. So tile will vary. So typically $3 per square foot for tile is on the lighter side. That's on the cheaper side. That is, I'm giving him a whole house to come and tile, and I have negotiated a better price. Okay? So typically for floor tile, if you were to go out to the market, it's about $5 in labor per foot. If they're doing wall tile, like bathroom tile, it's usually $7. If they're doing backsplash, it's usually $9. But if I'm giving him a whole project and he's making a few $1,000s on it, you can negotiate those prices down. Okay? And then you have to buy your own tile. Me personally, that's just, I should follow my own advice. I love tile, so I typically will spend a little more on tile than most. But that's just me. That's just what I like. That's a preference. However, I make up for it on other areas of the project, and I account for it when I negotiate my offers. So I know I spend a little bit more on material for tile than most, but I get a lower price. New carpeting. So that's what new looks like. New vinyl. So vinyl flooring. Before, after. As you can tell, we put new countertops in and painted it. That was it. We even kept the little scallops up there. Painted the trim, painted the cabinets. I forget if we put new hardware on that. I think we did. And flooring. That was it. Before and after. So here, you're installing new flooring in the bathroom. Okay, so you're just cleaning up, making it look new. Hardwood floors. So a lot of houses, they have hardwood floors. You can take them, resand them, restain them, refinish them. Usually about $2.75 per square foot. Count the feet, times it out. That will usually sand it, 2 coats of stain, and 2 coats of poly. And we use it depends on the oil or water base what you want to use. That's all. It's up to you. But this is before and after. So what bad looks like, what good looks like as they were doing it. This is what it looks like new to install new. Hardwood floor is one of those items also like tile you can go crazy on. You could do $20 per square foot. So usually between $7 and $9 per square foot for just like basic hardwood floor that sells in those price point homes. If you're doing luxury, you might want to go with the higher end. Kitchen. So old, new. This is what it looked like. This is what the market will dictate. Same thing. Old, new. Appliances. So it depends. You can buy new. You can get the package. You can get scratch and dents from some places with matching for about $1,200 to $1,500, and you can get all matching. When I mean scratch and dents, some places have them. Like some PC Richards has them, and then you can find some off scratch and dent places. They will have like a dent on the side of the fridge because they dinged it, and you can get it at a really good price. It's brand new, still in plastic. They warranty everything, and you can save. It's a good save. I personally like the scratch and dents, especially for like $350 and under properties. They're all brand new. And I buy appliances for my properties. This is a partially remodeled bathroom, so before and after. Okay, as you can see, we kept a lot of the guts here. We changed the floor, changed the vanity, painted it, and hit the little toolbar kit. That was it. Everything else is pretty much the same. So it's not always necessary to completely gut a bathroom. This was a total remodel, so we pulled everything out and put everything in. And again, this is not including your electric and your plumbing and your hallway, okay? Because that's in your other areas. Okay, cleanouts. Hold on, let me pause here. A little choppy. Is it clear? Is it clearing up a little bit? Hit me up in the messages. Let me know. I got about 10 minutes left on this one, and I'll be wrapping up. So get your questions ready. I'll probably be able to come and answer a couple of them at the end. Okay, sheetrock. You can do $3 per square foot, or if you want to count the sheets, $30 a sheet will get you. And here's the deal: you have to shop, so you're gonna have somebody do it. Some people will charge $150 per sheet. That's not the person you want to go with, obviously. Materials for sheetrock for the sheet, for the nails, for the tape, is about $10, $11 per sheet. So basically, for every sheet that's being hung, you're about $10 in materials, and you're paying $20 in labor per sheet. So if he's doing a kitchen, it's 10 sheets. What is that? 10 times 30? $300? Wait, is that right? Yeah, $300. 10 sheets. And he's probably doing a lot of other work in the house also. And that's ready for paint. So here's a dumpster. So this is a little different. This will fluctuate. So this actually went up. This is just for delivery of the dumpster. Then they charge by weight. So with these guys, you want to get the local areas and you want to count how many dumpsters you may think you need. For a total gut and renovation on a 1,500 square foot home, if it is in broom swept condition, you're probably at a dumpster and a half. Yeah, that's kitchen, bathroom. If you have to do a roof, that's a big item. Windows are big. You know, if you have a lot of cleanup, you're between 1 and 2 dumpsters. Okay? You'll pay for typically the delivery of the dumpster, and then they charge you by weight when they pick it up. Okay? So it could go anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per dumpster, and then labor to fill it. So if you have a lot of heavy stuff like concrete and stuff like that, cinder blocks, those are heavy. If it rains before they pick up, just so you know, make sure they pick up and it's dry. Don't let it rain on your stuff because watered down sheetrock is very heavy. You will pay $2,200 for that dumpster. There's a little tip. Ask me how I know that. So, and then the labor to fill it. Okay, so you're just going to sway a little bit. So you want, like, typically I'll count $1,500 per dumpster and just make it a flat number. Because again, I also have my miscellaneous. So if I'm off by $800 total, the miscellaneous budget can help support that. So just a recap on this. And another image of that. And then that was it. So look, on this point, that's the end of that presentation. I will Turn screen share off. So now you can see my face. Thank you. I can fix my hair. Does anybody have any questions on that? That is a lot of content, a lot of info. Hit me up in the messages if you do. I'll give it a couple minutes to kick in. If not, in the meantime, thank you so much. That was awesome. I really appreciate everybody signing in. And you'll get the link to the replay so you can listen to it if you missed anything or you didn't get notes on it or it was a little choppy. You can come and do that also. Just going to give it 1 or 2 more minutes for anybody that has a question. I can come and answer that. And if not, you have a pretty good idea of what to look at when you're going and inspecting these properties. And also, if somebody sends you pictures, so again, pictures. Oh, just a key. When I go through and I do the sheet, how I typically do it, and have everybody do it for me also, every room they go into, you should take a picture of each wall, so that's 4, the ceiling, the floor, and then in that room, any area of concern. So if there's a crack in the wall, I'll zoom in on that. So every living room should have 6 pictures minimum. So question, do I ever bring a contractor with me, or you always do the estimate yourself? Do you make offers right there at the property inspection? Great question. So in the beginning, I did ask to go with a couple contractors. So I would go with them when they inspected homes, and I could ask them questions. And typically I would buy them lunch. So I'm not asking them to come to my properties. I was proactive and called guys that had good rapport with other investors that came with great referrals and say, hey, Mike, when you go and look at a property in an area, could you give me a call? I'd love to come with you and ask you what you're looking at, how you look at it, and what price you would charge to have that done. Then I adjust my property inspection correctly. Now, I don't go and bring a contractor right off the bat. The only time I'll bring a contractor is if there's a miscellaneous or some structure issue that looks concerning, I'll bring a professional in. So if it's a structure problem, a bowing wall, a sagging floor that's not aside from a joist, I'll bring him in. And the reason why is because I know what they already charge me. I mean, I just say, okay, well, I have to do flooring, I have to do paint, I have to do fixtures. Okay, it's $2 for paint. It's, I'm going to do the engineered hardwood, so that's $5 a square foot, and that's taking the other one away. Do I make offers at the property live? Yes, I do. Yep. So I will go down and I'm just confirming the condition of the property. I'm going to adjust my offer. And then how I do it is depends on how you pre-screened them. If they say they're willing to sell for what they owe, I'm just going to make sure that it's good, that there's nothing crazy, that there's a house there. If they said, I'm not really sure about cash or terms, after that, if they're not willing to sell for what they owe, I give them all 3 offers. I can buy this house for cash. Here's my cash offer. I can buy a house on this set of terms or this set of terms. Which one works best for you? And the reason this number went up or down is because it's going to cost me X amount for repairs when they ask. So which one works best for you? I give them all 3 offers. Whichever one they point to, that's what I write up. And I leave with a contract. Everybody gets a copy of it. So everybody has a smartphone now. If they don't, I have a little scanner on my phone. I take all the pictures, email it to myself. I get their email. It goes right to my attorney right there at the house. So I get a copy, they get a copy, the attorney gets a copy, and if they have an attorney, what's his info, I'll send it to him too. Right there live. So you might spend an extra 2 hours at a property negotiating and doing all that and writing it up and going through it, but you just got a deal. So yeah, when I go down, I'm looking to buy. Even if it's a lot of repairs. Oh, thank you. Zach the Zapper. I like that. 10 out of 10. That's awesome. Thank you. So I hope that answered everybody's questions. I appreciate everybody coming on. Hopefully everybody got a 10 out of 10 value on it. And keep an eye out for that link for the replay. And as always, guys, just stay focused and find me some deals. I want a deal. I want a deal from everybody. Awesome. Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.